Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to my first podcast. I am so excited that you decided to join me today. Just sitting here trying out this new gig, trying out this new thing. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to get my thoughts out there, get some of your own thoughts and comments about everything that I'm going to be discussing. Yeah, it is a crazy world that we live in today. There's lots of stuff that's going on, lots of stuff that people don't understand that are, I think, in my opinion, taking it the wrong way or getting too sensitive about it. That don't even really have the understanding of what certain things that are being said, what they mean. Honestly. I'm going to go through some of that, some other different news that's come out and different discussions that are going on about everything that's been happening since the George Floyd incident. Yeah, so there's lots to talk about. Let me grab my mic here real quick. I would have to say the biggest thing right now that's going on is this huge outpouring, and I see it on Facebook all the time, this huge outpouring of saying all lives matter, that it is, if you say that, you're automatically a racist. These are my feelings on it. First off, there are people that are saying it, that are coming from that angle, that yes, they are coming from a racist point of view. I think some of them, though, just don't understand what saying Black Lives Matter means. I think they're taking offense to it. I think they're thinking that because of saying that other cultures and other people don't matter. No, that's not what they're saying. They're standing up for Black Lives Matter because of the injustice that has happened to the African American culture, the Black culture, that they continually, over all the years, it continues to go on and on and on, especially with the profiling, the racist attitudes, and definitely the injustice and the mistreatment of the police. And I completely understand. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are very upset about things, especially of my race, of who I am, being white and Irish, that no, white privilege doesn't exist. I'm sorry. If you think that white privilege doesn't exist, then where the hell have you been? Because I have seen it for myself. I've lived in South Minneapolis. I used to live right down there in the middle of all of what was going on down there in the riots. I used to be right there. And I would see how the police would treat me. And I would see how they would treat a black man walking down the road. And it was different. I definitely know of times that I can sit here and think of where my white privilege helped me. Now, you might agree with me, you might disagree with me, but I know my experiences, and I don't need to defend that. I know the truth. The way that they are treated is unfortunately not right, and it's wrong. And you would think after all the years that was fought through the civil rights movement, through everything like that, you would think by now that we would have more of an understanding of how that is not appropriate. And it's still happening. And that's why this whole thing is happening. They're fed up. They're fed up. And I completely understand. I side with this on them. I'm not going to be one of those that's going to sit there and say I side with them, because I want to feel like, or sit there and say that, I'm not a racist because, look, I support them. No, I'm not saying that. I'm white. And I understand why they feel the way that they do and why they're angry. Do I understand what it is to be one of them? No, I do not. I do not, and nor will I ever know. But damn it, I should be able to have the compassion to understand why they'd be upset. This is not a, random event. This has been happening quite a bit, especially in Minneapolis under the Minneapolis Police Department's watch. So this is, if you're not getting that how serious this is and you just want to blow it off, then my friend, you're wrong. You're very wrong. This is not one of those where you say, oh, just get over it. No, it's not. So some things are going to have to change. And a lot of people, change is uncomfortable. A lot of people are not going to want that. They're not going to want change. They don't want their world to have to be different. And it's an uncomfortable subject to even have to come up. It is awkward for a white person to be, okay, how have I wronged you, even if they're not racist? I'm not saying that, I've wronged, or that people out there that are white, that all of us have wronged black people. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, though, is we need to step up and we need to acknowledge the errors, the horrible, horrible mistakes that the white culture has made. If we can't be honest, if we can't stand up and do that, we're lying to ourselves. Absolutely lying to ourselves. So that's where I'm going with that. This whole stuff that's going on is just absolutely out of control. I don't agree with the rioting and the fires and all of that. I don't. I hated seeing my city burn the way it did. But I understand the anger. It's been building up. Like I said, this is not something that just happened over one event. It's been coming to it. It's just been building and building, and finally it went off with this. So some of the new news that's coming out is obviously the one rookie police officer. He's been let out. He paid his bail and has been let out. Of course, he's got the charges of aiding and abetting, second degree of murder. So supposedly he's out. His lawyers got him out, and I'm sure he's being protected and being very safe because I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to get a hold of him. That's going on. We've got Trump, who I really don't want to talk about him much. He's not even worth my time. But just the way he's behaving, I honestly don't know how anybody that has been oppressed in any way, whether that be of any race, of any sexual identity or gender, anyone that's been oppressed, I don't know how you can support that jackass. I don't. He is an imbecile. He is someone that he is not helping our country through this entire event, whether it be through, the unspeakable pandemic that we're going through, or through this situation now. He has not helped it. He has just added gas to the fire. Something has to be done about that. It's out of control, and getting to the point where if you're saying stuff like, go ahead and, shoot them if they're looting, or shoot them if they're, I've seen the videos. I've watched the live feeds, hours upon hours of watching live feeds. The week that it all went down, I literally would stay up till 4 a.m. after work and sit there and watch hours and hours of just them walking around down there in the middle of all of it. And it was shocking the way the police treated those people. They're just standing 6 feet away, even keeping social distancing. Oh yeah, social distancing. With their hands up, and they're getting shot with rubber bullets and tear gas and pepper spray, and they're not doing anything but standing there saying, no justice, no peace. They're not doing anything to the police officers to warrant that. And this has been done all over the country. Seattle, we had a woman that got hit with one of their little flash canisters that they have and had to go to the hospital for it. Just nailed her directly right on with it. How about these reporters like CNN and these reporters that are getting arrested? And they're, especially the one from CNN who is a black man doing nothing but doing his job. He was doing nothing wrong but doing his job. And right there on live TV, we got to watch that whole thing go down. I mean, these police officers are not even trying to show that they don't act the way that we're accusing them of acting. They're just doing it. They don't care. They think that they're above their badge. They think they don't have to answer for what they're doing. That is why it's gotten to the point where Minneapolis now wants to defund the police department. You got the whole council down there wanting to say no more. Now, this is not a new thing. I mean, there's been one other city that has done it. I've done a lot of research with this and why we would want to do this. In Newark, New Jersey, or not Newark, Camden, New Jersey, they had a huge crime rate, lots of corruptions within the police department. So what they decided to do is completely abolish the police department. Just got rid of it. Gone. See you. And they refinanced it into their community, into other different security means for the city. And since they've done it, their crime has gone down by over half. And this was a heavily drug addicted, lots of heroin, lots of other crimes going on. And they were able to get ahead of all of that and make changes because of doing it. So at first when I heard it, I was like, oh, what is that going to be? I mean, are we going to bring back the Wild West? This is going to be a free-for-all? But no, it has been proven that it can be done. Now, whether or not Minneapolis is going to be one of those cities that be able to do it, I don't know. I honestly don't know. That will be something for us down the road to have to look at. But I think with everything that's gone on this year, we're now just finally starting to get things back rolling again and opening again. Where I work, there's a casino that's right there. They're finally opening up on Monday again. So people are slowly, I saw people coming in and out of restaurants today that were sitting inside. So, yeah. Little by little, it's starting to come back. People are going back to jobs. People are starting to hire again. So hopefully we're getting rolling again. And hopefully, they're saying there's going to be a second wave. There's always a possibility of that. And I think that the better odds of that is that we will have probably another second wave. But hopefully with the stay-at-home orders and everything like that, we were able to get caught up when it comes to the masks and beds at the hospitals and the respirators and everything like that, so we could at least slow it down a little bit to get caught up because of Trump obviously not taking action in January like he should have. He just blew it off like, oh, whatever. It's not that big. I don't think it'll be. And now he's come out. I just read a news story that even if the new wave comes through, the country will not be shut down again. That's what he's saying. Now, I don't know how much power he has that way because the last time I checked, the governors decide when they open and close. So I still think it's going to come down to the governors of the states making those decisions. And here in Minnesota with Governor Walz, we pretty much know what he'll probably do. He's been one of the longest... his state is one of the longest, here in Minnesota, longest states that have stayed under this almost like quarantine than any of the other states in the United States. I think if another wave came through, he would definitely look at shutting it down, which I know why we did it, but financially for the economy, we're in trouble. We've got to get back to manufacturing some money getting passed around in this country, because making money and giving out stimulus checks is not going to be the answer. That's not. It's going to cheapen our dollar. We've got to do something to get this world back, this country back on track and back on the rails and moving down back to where we were before. And hopefully, maybe with a new president in there, maybe even better success in the economy later on. Who knows? But that's the stuff that's going on. There's, lots of thoughts about all this, about where do we go from here? What is going to be our next steps to get to a point to where this won't happen again? Because you can make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm an alcoholic. Okay, I've been an alcoholic for a long time. In the last 6 years, I've been in and out of treatment 7 times. Pretty much, I'm living in a sober living home right now. I've been in and out of sober living for the last 6 years, where I've lived on my own for maybe 3 months. So when it comes down to making mistakes, yeah, I've made a lot. And you can only say you're sorry so much before eventually it doesn't work anymore. And you've got to show the behavior to make that change. So I'm sitting here 92 days or 93 days, and none of this is happening unless I'm making an effort to do it. Action. So if that's the case, then we need to be able to have action in these times. And right now, what's going on is, what is that action going to be? If you're going to make a mistake, we need to learn from it so it doesn't happen again. Is this going to do that? Is this going to finally put us in a position to where that's going to be the case? I don't know. But I'm sure hoping it does, because I don't know if this country is going to be able to deal with another one of these. This is brutal. So yeah, there is so much change. It's amazing, when Obama was in office, or when he ran his campaign, that was one of his campaigns, was change. We definitely need that now. So what's it going to do? What's it going to be? How are we going to do it? And is people going to be able to get along with each other to even do that? I look at these Facebook pages and I see these people and how mean and cruel and hateful they are. Okay, and I'm trying to keep this as biased as possible. Or unbiased as possible, to where I don't have my emotions in it, to where I want to say, yes, I'm an atheist. I don't side with the Christian right-wing conservatives. Listen, I might be an atheist. I am. I'm an atheist. That's the truth. But when it comes down to it, I believe that there's right things on both sides of it, that they make good arguments. So that's why when it comes down to it, I'm part of the moderate party. So people in general today, it's either my way or the highway. There is no more debating and coming up with a solution, and maybe be open-minded to where that other person who's talking to you might actually make a point that you might look at and go, maybe I need to make a change in my thinking. I'm doing that all the time, it seems like. This time. So we don't do that anymore. It's either you believe the way I believe, or you're on the other side. There is no open dialogue. And you want to talk about a time where that happened, just look at the Crusades. That was exactly what? You don't believe in my God? Oh, you die. Okay, and look at all the bloodshed that came from it. I just really feel that if we don't come to some kind of common ground, that the civil unrest in this country, it won't be like a civil war in the 1800s. It'll be a modern day version of it. But it will be something that there is going to be a divide. You see it already now. There's a division, even through all the medias and social medias. There's a division between black and white. And it's getting wider and wider and wider. And for what? What is this accomplishing? This is not helping anything in our country. This is not helping us in day-to-day life when we're going out and having relationships with people. I don't care what fucking color you are, where you're from, what's your race, your beliefs. If you believe them, and you have the right to have that belief just as much as I have. If you are not going out and committing crimes and hurting people and doing things that go against that whatever moral fabric that somewhat we have in this country, if it's not going against that, you have the right to be who you want to be. I don't care. In fact, and I said this earlier to someone, I find being around other cultures and races and different people interesting to me. It allows me to learn things that I don't know. The way they think, the way they do things, their rituals with family, with their friends, I find it interesting. I don't find it offensive. I don't find it scary because they're different than me. Really? You're afraid just because they're different, because they're not what? You? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. What are we doing? I'm different. I've got a lot of differences. I'm an alcoholic, bipolar, pansexual, who was raised in a Pentecostal church home as a dad as a minister, and I guess I could have people all over the place who want to judge me from whatever side. I mean, they could sit there and look at me because I'm different, not have anything to do with me or feel uncomfortable with me. But that's not the way it should be. I have the right to be who I want to be. Believe the way I want to believe. But I'm not going to sit here and choke you on it. I'm not going to sit here and beat you over the head with it. You want to ask me a question about it? Then fine. Ask me a question and we can have a discussion about it. And that's what this podcast is going to be about. This podcast ain't going to be about me just talking about, some of it will be my beliefs, of course. I will have my opinions because that's just who I am. I'm a very opinionated person. But when it comes down to it, I want us to have discussions about how we can make these changes, how we can actually find some common ground in our differences and be like, these differences make us better as people. So, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing more podcasts, obviously, and more of these, vlogs. And I'm going to have special guests that will be with me to discuss some of the topics. And I want you to be able to comment as well, and I will be reading them every day to see what other topics you could bring up for me to discuss and give me options to be able to research, and I'll get that research and bring it to the table for you. And let's just find a way to heal. Because right now it's an open wound. It is gushing blood everywhere right now. Everyone is on edge. Let's try to figure out a way where we don't have to be on edge, to where we can actually be comfortable in discussing tough topics, because that's the only way things are going to be different. The only way. If we can't do that, then man, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could possibly bring up. But yeah, if you enjoy this, if you want to, see some more, hear some more of what this recovery atheist thinks, and I'm going to gradually be bringing it more and more as time goes on. Eventually, I'd love to do live feeds with actual phone calls. I'm just going to gradually build this as I can, and it's going to get better and better and better. But yeah, subscribe, come see me. I'll be putting more videos out, and let's talk, man. I'm interested in knowing what you have to say. I'm interested in your thoughts. I'm interested in what you think we need to do to make this change. The other topics that you can also go on, obviously I'm called the Recovery Atheist. So the other topics that I want to bring to the table as well, that I'll have special guests, is the idea of recovery and the higher power concept. Now, I live in a sober living house where I have to do either AA, NA, some kind of a support group, which I completely understand, and the steps do help me, and it's good that I work through those steps. But the idea of God and turning a will over to a God, a higher power, has always been something that I have struggled with. So that makes me feel like if that's the case, then I need to be able to incorporate a way of doing it with my atheism beliefs and be able to figure out how to do this without always having, the big God involved in the conversation, and be able to use other things as a source of support and power that's outside of myself. So those are also other topics I want to bring to the table. I want to go ahead and throw this out there. If you're interested in learning other things about atheism and different things of that nature, check out The Thinking Atheist, Seth Andrews. He's an absolutely amazing individual in his history and where he's come from in his life. So I would check that page out as well. And then, just let me know what you want to do. And with that, I'm going to say I'm out. I hope everyone is safe. Hope everyone had a good time. And I will talk to you soon, probably in a couple days. Outside of that, this is the Recovery Atheist saying peace.